Have you ever noticed that it feels like life just moves faster and faster every single year? The funny thing is, that's actually true. Think about it. When you're 10 years old, 1 year is a full 10% of your life. When you're 20 years old, 1 year is just 5% of your life. And when you reach 40 years old, 1 year is gonna be just 2.5% of your life. And for me, whenever we enter a new year, like 2025 right now, it's a reminder of how limited my time actually is. Before you know it, we're gonna be walking into 2026. And if I don't spend my time wisely this year, I will have wasted another few percentages of my limited time on this earth. And that is why right now I am fully focused on removing the time wasters from my life. The bad habits that will steal away my life if I'm not careful. And look, I'm not talking about the obvious ones like fapping or playing video games. I'm talking about the subtle ones that most of us never even notice. That being said, before we take a look at number one, I have a serious question for you. From 1 to 10, how determined are you to make 2025 your greatest year yet? Now, for those of you who said anything less than an 8, I got some bad news for you. Nothing is gonna change unless you're fully invested. But for the true beasts who are ready to lock in, I created a challenge for you. It's called the 2025 Beast Challenge. It is completely free for everyone to join. There's gonna be multiple cash winners, and it starts today. Because look, we're already 2 full weeks into the new year, and that means that if you don't lock in now, it's gonna be too late for you. And then another year is gonna pass you by. Another year without reaching your goals. No stunning girlfriend, no jacked body, no financial freedom. And that's what this challenge is all about. If you've been crushing it recently, then this is your chance to prove it and win some big cash prizes. And if not, well, this is your chance to turn things around and generate some serious momentum for this year. Because right now is when most men are actually already losing momentum on their New Year's goals they set just a few weeks ago. So what you're doing right now is actually more important than January 1st. So that being said, if you're ready to step up, just click that first link in description to get access now. And then every day this week, I'll be sending you a challenge to complete. It is that simple. I'll see you inside. All right, number one, stop letting emotions drive decisions. The harsh truth is that emotions ruin your decisions. I decided I was gonna bulk up and pack on some muscle mass this winter, but then I got afraid that I might gain some fat, so I stopped, and then my body didn't improve. I decided I was gonna approach that cute girl at the gym, but then I got worried that it might be embarrassing if other people hear, so I decided maybe I'll do it next time. I decided I was finally gonna quit my job and go all in on my business, but then I got afraid that I might fail, so I stayed. So if you've made a decision that you know long-term is gonna be the best for you and it's the right move, well then even when you get scared and start to second guess yourself, it's still the right move, bro. My first business, hell, my first 5 or 6 businesses failed after I quit my job, but it was still the right move because ultimately it led me down the path of getting where I am today, allowing me to have financial freedom without having a boss. What decision have your emotions been preventing you from committing to? Number 2, stop competing in areas that you don't care about. Man, I used to go to these big nightclubs in downtown Boston or Madrid when I was living in Spain, and I would try and meet girls, or maybe I'd just be having fun with the homies, and then I would look up and I'd see the guys in the exclusive VIP tables, and it made me feel like a peasant. Or I remember going to the gym back when I got started, and I would see these big bodybuilder looking dudes, and it made me feel like a skinny little bitch. And the wild thing is, looking back, I never really cared about being some nightlife king or some competitive bodybuilder, yet I still made those value comparisons and felt terrible about myself. 2025 has to be the year that you drop these unnecessary battles and you focus on what's actually fucking important to you, bro. Yeah, if you're trying to start an online business, then you should be watching and learning from the guys who have businesses that are ahead of yours. That's actually useful. But if it's something that's not meaningful to you, that you don't care about, then just give them their flowers. Like, yeah, it's cool, bro. You're the nightlife king. That's awesome. But that doesn't have to say something about me. Number 3, quit neglecting your personal image. Sometimes I'm scrolling my Instagram and I see one of these videos where it's this pretty boy showing his 45-minute routine to get his hairstyle just right. And I'm like, bro, are you a man or are you a woman? Like, what are you doing here? And look, I had a very insecure stage where I would stare at the mirror for hours thinking about how I wish my nose wasn't so long. But all that did was waste time and then also make me feel like shit about myself. But then eventually I started looking at my appearance as a man, just analyzing it ruthlessly and saying, okay, what is the utility here? What do I care about? Well, if I improve this, perhaps I'll get more respect and better reactions from other people. And then it becomes just another area of my life that I can logically look at and experiment with different hairstyles or different outfits to see what works. If it works, cool, we can build on it. If not, just like anything else, we can move on. There's no need to sit there obsessing like, oh, I don't know if this hairstyle is gonna work for me. I don't know if I should get these pants. So my question for you is, what is one thing you can do to experiment with your looks today? Maybe it's trying a new hairstyle. Maybe it's trying a different type of outfit. There's no need to make a huge deal about it. If it works, cool. If not, you can move on and try something else later. Number 4, quit buying cheap fixes. Do any of y'all remember those silly ab machines they used to sell with the infomercials where it would like vibrate on your abs and then they said it would get you a 6-pack? Yeah, like clearly when we all saw that, we knew, bro, this ain't gonna get you the 6-pack. I mean, probably some people fell for it because they were making those commercials for a while, so they had to be making some money. But sadly, I think we can all admit that we still look for shortcuts in some areas of our life. And this is probably different for each of us. So I'm curious to know, drop a comment below the video right now. In what area of your life have you been looking and trying for a shortcut rather than just putting your head down and doing the fucking work? Number 5, cut out information overload. Roughly how many self-improvement videos have you watched in the last week? Let's say just 5. And let's say each of those 5 videos had 5 to 10 pieces of advice in it. So you've watched 25 to 50 different pieces of advice in the last week. And how many of those would you say that you've actually implemented in your life already? I'm thinking probably like 5% could be accurate. Maybe you've tried 1 or 2 of them. Even though if I'm being honest, for me, there was a time where I was consuming a lot of these videos and I was applying 0% of them. Because it almost became this game where if I just watched more videos on how to pick up women or how to get jacked in the gym, I was just accumulating this knowledge. And it was almost like I was getting this payoff because I knew everything. I could tell anyone what he was doing wrong in his dating life or what he was doing wrong in the gym. Meanwhile, what was I doing? I was doing nothing, bro. I was single, I was scrawny, and I was playing it safe on the sidelines. So right now, I want you to make a new rule for yourself. Every time you watch a piece of content, I want you to write down, even if it's just in a notepad app in your phone, write down one thing from that video that you will actually take forward and implement. Forget the rest of them. We're not trying to be philosophers or human databases here, right? We're trying to actually improve. Number 6, quit living life like you have time. So I know the first point in this video, I said that we should not let our emotions guide our decision making. But there is one emotion that I purposefully let guide my decisions, and it's the emotion of fear. But not just any type of fear. You see, I have this deep fear inside of me that I'm not going to accomplish everything that I'm capable of. And every morning I wake up and I'm afraid, bro. I'm afraid that I'm not gonna get as much done today as I can, and that I'm gonna waste time somewhere here or there. I'm afraid that this year is gonna pass me by and that I'm gonna fuck something up and my businesses are gonna fail and I'm gonna be broke and single again. I'm afraid. And is that fear rational or logical? Nah, probably not. But still, I choose to listen to this fear rather than the fear of short-term discomfort. Because it's true, I'm more afraid of being a long-term failure than losing a little bit of money on a bad business decision or being rejected by a girl. Those things are gonna pass by tomorrow. Number 7, stop thinking that success is a solo game. There's one piece of advice that I used to fucking hate it. Whenever someone told me this, it just pissed me off. And that's when people would say, your network is your net worth, and you have to network with, high earning individuals. Because I'd be sitting there like, bro, what am I, I'm just a broke kid. How am I gonna get this guy? I'm bringing him out to coffee or some shit. Am I gonna call him up or send him an email? It's not gonna work. The funny thing is that I did end up networking without even realizing it. This is back when I was starting my blog, howtobeast.com. And I ended up reaching out to a few other guys who had self-improvement blogs that were about the same size as mine. And we ended up hopping on calls each week just to hold each other accountable and to share our wins and losses with each other so we could, learn from each other's mistakes and move forward. And naturally, as I started to level up, I started to reach out and to network with guys that were higher and higher and higher levels. And that for sure has been one of the key ingredients in the success that I've realized, because I start to see my friends or people in my social circle having these huge business wins that I wouldn't even think were possible before. But I'm like, no, I know him and I saw how he did that. So of course I can do that shit too. So stop trying to do it alone, and also stop thinking that networking has to be this big complex thing. Just shoot someone a DM or an email that's at your level or maybe a little bit above you. Number 8, stop wasting time on things that you can't control. So right now I want you to think, what are 3 things that have been stressing you out lately? First 3 things that come to your head. So for me, I'm constantly a bit worried about my newborn baby's health. I was very worried last week when we released the version 3.0 update for the Beastly app, because now thousands of users are using it and inevitably something's gonna go wrong. And, I guess today I was a little stressed out that I wasn't gonna get this video planned and filmed in time for Monday. But what are your 3 things? Now for each of your 3 things, you might have to pause the video if you haven't thought about them yet. I want you to think, okay, what is one thing I can do already today to improve this situation? And honestly, bro, if that is the only thing you take from this video, that will still 10x your life this year, because this process of identifying our stressors and then quickly identifying how we improve that situation, it forces us to grow, because it forces us to take action on the highest leverage items in our life. Decisions you've been avoiding making or unresolved problems, they can't stay unresolved anymore. Sometimes though, you'll find that there's no obvious step. Like maybe one of your stressors is that this girl still hasn't texted you back yet and it's pissing you off. But you know that if you send her another text message, you're just gonna be simping and it's just gonna push her away even more. So in this case, when there's no obvious action step that can influence the situation, well, guess what? It's time to let go and move on, because you have no control there. Number 9, stop waiting for the perfect plan. So I want you to imagine 2 different guys. We got Jack, who's been thinking about starting a side hustle, and over the last 6 months, he's done a bunch of research and he's narrowed it down to 3 potential business plans he could use, and he's just waiting a little bit more to make sure that he chooses the perfect plan and doesn't waste his time. And then we got Marco over here. Now, Marco also wants to start a side hustle, and he's not sure which is gonna be the best for him, but he decides, you know what? I'm just gonna try and learn video editing and then reach out to content creators to edit their videos. I'm just gonna fucking see what happens. And he spends the next 2 or 3 months learning the skill, leveling up his video editing skills, and then he's starting to reach out to clients. What's going on with Jack over here? Well, 2 or 3 months later, he's done a little more research. He's actually changed his list of possible business ideas, and now he's narrowed it down to 2 different ones from before. You tell me, which of these guys is gonna be more successful in 1 year from now? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Just get started and trust that your future self, he's gonna figure it out. Number 10, stop being a passive consumer. So what have you consumed so far today? Maybe you scrolled a little bit on Instagram, consumed some content. Maybe you ate some eggs for breakfast. Maybe you threw on Netflix and watched some of the new Squid Game episodes. The reality is that we live in an attention economy where everything around us is constantly fighting for our attention. When it comes to social media platforms, there's teams of top engineers designing the algorithm so that it's feeding you pieces of content that are the most likely to get you to consume them. Even the title and thumbnail of this YouTube video was designed as much as I could to hook you in. And I've realized that this puts me in this passive spectator mindset by default, where I can wake up each day and I can go through the day just consuming. And I can be looking at my phone, I can be watching the television, I can be eating, I can be doing some of this, and the day's gonna pass by. I'm gonna feel good, I'm not gonna be bored. Like, it's a sustainable lifestyle. The key to fighting your way free from this system is to replace consumption with production. Instead of getting up and mindlessly consuming, I try and stop myself and say, hey, hold up. What am I producing today? For example, this morning I woke up, I took a look at my different businesses, what needed to be done. I sent some emails, I negotiated some distribution rates, I hit the gym, I planned this video, I'm filming this video, and guess what? If at the end of the day I have some time to consume, well, that's when I'm gonna relax and consume. But bro, you cannot afford to start the day in a consumption mindset, or you're fucked. That all being said, if you're serious about actually getting ahead in 2025, then make sure you join the free 2025 Beast Challenge, first link in description. And also make sure you click over and watch this video next. That is about 7 attractive hobbies that all guys should learn. These are the hobbies that built my confidence, made me a more well-rounded man, and also made my dating life a whole lot easier. I'll talk to you in the next video. Stay beastly.